You're so convincing.
Or it could be that I was very convincing.
Any? Yeah.
It's probably a very naive question because I'm not a new student or anything. It's
Get out. Yeah.
It's very interesting to your position and amenities, but I'm not really sure. But I was just thinking it's a bit anthropocentrist to consider that the odds are so improbable for the possibility of life, because surely that kind of means that that's the only chance the universe had to develop like this. If you consider that time doesn't necessarily have limits and the universe can just go on and on, recreating itself and having big bangs and then, ending and starting again, and you could think it's going to start again and again and again, and surely at one point you reach a point where...
Sure. That's a very good point. I think what you're drawing on there is the idea of the multiverse. That if we have, for example, a mother universe, and within the mother universe we have universes popping into existence, then surely if we have an infinite amount of time, then eventually one of those universes will have its constants and arbitrary quantity initial conditions falling within the life-permitting range. But that's very presumptuous. What we know now is that the universe actually began to exist about 13.5 and 5 minutes ago. No, just joking about 5 minutes. About 13.5 billion years ago. So we know now that the universe has a beginning. Now the idea that the universe is in a multiverse or a mother universe is highly speculative. Not only, what that actually shows us that is actually a testament to the fact that we do live in a universe. We do experience the universe, the reality of the universe, and that it is highly improbable. Because that's why the atheist scientists, because they're confronted with this reality that our universe is highly improbable, the existence of intelligent life is highly improbable, they have postulated this idea, the hypothesis of a multi-universe. But there's no evidence for such a universe, no evidence whatsoever. And that is no more scientific than the hypothesis that God created the universe. So firstly, that's a great idea. That would help the situation, because if we did have an infinite amount of universes, created, destroyed, then yes, that would exist. I agree. But there's no evidence for a multiverse. Second problem is this. By providing the alternative of the multiverse, you do not escape design. You just push it one level up. Because then what you have to explain is the structure and the design of the mother universe that produces these universes. Design is the annoying bump in the carpet. You suppress it here and then it pops up there. Okay, so for example, you can explain this universe, right? Because it's one out of an infinite amount of universe. It's fair enough. But what about the mother universe? How is that generating universes? There is a theory called M theory, which is a theory of everything, which is a current theory that explains this kind of idea of the multiverse. But that theory has to have 10 dimensions. 10 dimensions. It can't be less or any more than that. It has to be 10 dimensions. The question is, why 10? So that too has to fall within a narrow range. So this idea of design, firstly, highly speculative, and secondly, it doesn't avoid design. And we also have a great amount of evidence to suggest that the universe does, any kind of universe, any quantum gravitational universe, any kind of universe postulated, must have a beginning. So the universes aren't infinite. If the universe was infinite, if we were part of a mother universe, think of being in a mother universe. So you have, never mind. So you have this mother universe, okay? And it's eternal, okay? And then what we have is these universes popping into existence. In an infinite amount of time, what would happen to those universes? They would collide and coalesce. Think about it. Infinite amount of time, infinite possibility, infinite amount of universes popping into existence. But that's not our reality. We don't have another universe crashing into our universe. So there's many problems with this idea of the multiverse. It's fashionable. it sounds exciting because it seems to get away from the improbabilities of a fine-tuned universe. But unfortunately it doesn't. It just pushes the problem up one level.
Yeah, definitely.
When you said that atheism leads to determinism and determinism is then irrational,
yes.
You know, say when I'm an atheist, you know, I accept that my belief, you know, my atheism is determined. Why would that? Why is that irrational?
Why is it irrational?
Yeah.
Because it's not you haven't decided. It's not a matter of being true or false. If, for example, is a toothache, the actual experience itself, is it true or false? Is it rational? Are you in your cognitive state when you have a...
No.
Yeah, okay. That's because it's just determined by your genetic makeup, the actual pain receptors, etc., etc. Well then, if everything is like that, we can't exclude our thinking. Darwin had this problem as well. He said, then how can I trust my mind if my mind is the mind of a monkey? Right? So, if you don't have, and by the way, this is not a fringe view. I'm not espouse a fringe view of atheism. Many atheists, like Daniel Dennett, for example, believe in determinism. But the consequence of that is you haven't decided, you haven't... okay, for example, for someone to be rational means that you've taken a conscious decision to look at the evidence and decide something, right? But that can't be the case if you're determined. Your choice is taken away from you. So then if your choice is taken away from you, then how can you be rational? Yeah?
Yeah, that's on that.
Yeah. Just to go back to your point on minds, I believe it was. Means.
Yeah.
Just to go back to that point. I wondered if the audience would be so good as to help me out with this one. Can I ask anyone who believes in what their parents believe in, be it atheism or any religion, to put their hands up? The same as parents. So I was just wondering how you would answer back to that as to the existence
Okay.
of pressure.
Okay, now ask the same question and ask them, you believe in the same thing that your parents believe, but you've also looked at the evidence and decided that what they believe is also true. Now put your hands up, who's done that? Okay.
I'm in no means saying anything here is legal.
No, see, no, because...
Statistically,
No, that's a different question. That's a different question, because just because people believe in a certain way doesn't mean that they should believe in that way. See, there are some individuals that believe just because their parents believe, they're culturally religious. But that doesn't mean that we can't believe in religion without evidence. Those are two separate things. Yeah? Okay, for example, so is this impossible? I'm born up as a Christian, for example. Let's just argue that I was born up as a Christian. I look at the evidence, and then I convert to, say, Islam. How do you account for that?
I'm not saying in any way that that's impossible. I'm saying that statistically, your odds of doing that are very low.
Okay, I agree with you. That in most cases people don't take religion and assess the evidence and believe in it because of evidence. I agree with you. But my point here is that Richard Dawkins is saying is that it's impossible. That it's look what he said. He said it's blind faith. It's despite evidence, even believing in the teeth of evidence. His view is that religion can't be based on evidence. And the point of my presentation was to show that that's false. That's a gross generalization. You're right in saying that most people believe is because they were born into a religion. You're absolutely right. But I'm rebutting something else here. Do you understand the difference?
Yeah, no, I see the parallel.
Okay.
Okay, we'll read this question here.
Do you want to read it?
Could you please explain what Islam says about dinosaurs?
Islam says about dinosaurs. Who asked? No one day was written down. The next question would be, what does Islam say about Transformers?
Don't mess with Transformers.
Yes, I'm a great fan. Well, Islam doesn't actually mention anything about dinosaurs, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't believe that they exist. Obviously, there's empirical evidence that dinosaurs exist, but Islam doesn't actually say that they don't exist. So omission is not negation. You know what I mean? Hope that answers it.
Okay, any other questions?